Thank you very much. Thank you to Pauline and thank you to all of our speakers. And now we are going to go for our switch. So actually 3 of our presenters are going to leave the stage and will be replaced with 3 discussion participants. That's the fun of working with theater people. You get to do proper performances like that. So thank you very much for joining us. Maybe you can take the mics and hand them over. Good. Pass on the speaking sticks, so to say. Thank you, Heidi, for staying on board with me. So Heidi Wiley you have met, and she will be participating in the upcoming discussion as well. And I get to introduce our discussants. Welcome to the stage. Please take a seat. Wherever you like.
Sit next to me.
Beautiful costume.
Colorful.
Yes. So let me start over there. Most of you will probably recognize, or those of Linz anyway, those coming from Linz anyway, will recognize Airan Berg. He is a director and currently also a circus director. He's the director of the Circus of Knowledge, which is located here on campus and which is opening on the 1st of October, so very exciting. When I invited Airan to join us on this panel, he told me that all of his productions already also work when the power is out. But since we're talking about audience engagement and he has quite a bit to contribute there, I decided to let him on the panel anyway. Taavet Jansen is sitting next to him. Taavet comes from Estonia and he's a director, a choreographer and a programmer. And as I learned yesterday, a professional dancer for 20 years. Incredible. So maybe at the end of this panel you can do a little performance for us. We did not discuss this. Taavet is also a PhD student at the Estonian Academy of Arts and he's running a production venue as well. And last but not least, let me introduce Alex Verhaest from Belgium. She's a media artist and a filmmaker working on tearing down the fourth wall. So you have quite the task here. She won the Golden Nika in 2015 for Temps Mort. And she's participating this year in the expanded animation symposium, which is happening Friday to Sunday. So go and see her there as well. But this is all that I get to do for the discussion because I'm not actually moderating it. And you're thinking, who's moderating the discussion? There is no more people on the stage that we haven't met. Let me introduce you to Blair Stevenson, who's sitting in the auditorium. Blair is from Finland. He's the project lead of the Acute project that you have already heard quite a bit about. And he is going to be facilitating the discussion that we are about to hear. And he's actually doing that from the epicenter of our topic, right? Blair is, as I said, or have I said it? Blair is with the University of Applied Sciences in Oulu. And Oulu is, as you have already seen here, also the European Capital of Culture in 2026. And this is the first thing I will ask Blair to talk about, and then I'm handing it over to you, Blair.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. It's a real pleasure to be here, part of this discussion of the barriers between the fourth wall. We felt that the moderation we could try to engage from the audience. So certainly over the next little while, we'll be having a discussion including the panelists up on the stage, but we'll also, if time allows, we'll also be able to take some questions from the audience, so you'll be able to have that time to answer some questions to the panelists. So thank you very much for the introduction, Vanessa, and I think we should go straight to it. So what I'd like to begin with is to ask a question of everyone on the panel to give an opening statement, both as a reflection to the kind of presentations we've just received, but also to open the discussion with regards to the theme of this this talk with regards to digital theater and how it may shape your own practice. So Airan, I was hoping you could begin, and this hopefully we'll have a little more of a rapid process, so we'll go through the panelists and continue the dialogue that way. So Airan, your initial reflection on what we're discussing today.
Well, when I started to do theater, we didn't even have moving lights, and there were not even computerized light boards. So this is a really different environment. So I'd like to start with a little exercise, because theater is also about physical space, and I will do a very short exercise with everybody, and maybe it will show my position connected to theater as we know it before, which is a space where people interact and breathe together, and technological development in theater, which has always been, I mean, theater has always been in the forefront of involving technology. We burnt many theaters down when gaslight was invented. But we'll start with this little exercise. I might need you to help me by just holding the microphone, because I need 2 hands, which means you can't participate in the exercise because you need both hands. But maybe if you just follow me, and it's really important everybody does this together. So first, just fold your hands the way you usually do. Okay? This is not artificial. This is natural intelligence. Now, please look at your hands, and everybody who has their left thumb on top, please raise your left arm. Left thumb on top, raise your left arm. Okay? And now look a bit around the space. Okay, thank you very much. Now, put your arms down, and everybody who had their right thumb on top, please raise your right arm. Okay, if we look around the space again, it was about maybe 2/3 to 1/3. Thank you, I can use this for a second. 2/3 to 1/3. Now, scientific research shows that about 3/4 of the world's population has their left thumb on top, but there's no scientific reason to why that is so. Now, I'll ask you, can I ask you to hold this again? Thank you. Now, try to do it the other way around. So those who had their left thumb on top, like me, will now put their right thumb on top. Right? How does it feel?
Irritating.
Feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Yeah? I guess that's that artificial intelligence part kicking in right there. Okay. Now we're going to the advanced level of this. Please fold your arms the way you usually do. Now look, where's your left hand and where's your right hand? Are you doing this, Blair? I'm not seeing you participating. I mean, really, you can put that in your lap. All right? Now try to do it the other way around. Okay, that was my contribution to artificial intelligence and technology. Thank you very much for participating in this really important experiment. But when I tried, thank you. There's an applause there.
Thank you, Aaron.
Now, do you applaud with your left hand on your right or your right hand? What I tried to show with this little exercise that I force people to do all over the world is to understand what it means like when we have to leave our comfort zone and how difficult change is. I think that is the most important thing. But for me, I think what was relevant, if I can reflect a bit on what was said, and also frame what theater is, I mentioned it a bit before. For me, theater is, or the magic of theater is that one moment where performers and audiences find a similar breath. For that one magical moment. That's when theater happens. Now, that might be only a second in a performance, but when that happens, that is the magic of theater. And for me, theater really requires, in its definition, the live audience. So what you have done with ETC and these beautiful little films, I don't need to call it theater because it's film, and we have a thing called film, and we have a thing called short film. We have television film, we have animated film. So we don't always have to press the theater where it might not belong, because theater is that moment, that magical moment where we sit together or wander together in the same space. That is kind of my pure definition of theater. And I think one of the most magical moments, do any of you know forced entertainment? The group Forced Entertainment? You're very much in the dark, so you have to really be like big. Right, Forced Entertainment, thank you. Theater is also about make-believe. So I don't always want to see everything in the theater, because theater is also about the imagination of an audience. And there was one piece by Forced Entertainment, I think in the beginning 2000s or something, where an actor walked on stage and said, "A helicopter is landing on the stage." And everybody in the audience saw a helicopter landing on the stage. And the whole piece was about things that could never happen on a stage. But we all saw that. And that is, again, the magic of theater. It's also about the fantasy of an audience. And when that comes together, that is something very, very beautiful. And for me, I think what was most relevant in what was said, and I'm really curious about seeing shadow and seeing the rabbit hole things, because please don't misunderstand this. I'm not against technology. I'm not against technology in theater. It's the whole notion of the content. What makes it necessary to be included in a stage production?
Okay.
All right? That is for me. Why do we use that? How does it help us to tell a story, or even if it's abstract, what is its role? Everything on stage has a role. So what is the role of technology? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Airan.